All right, foul tips, or else the otherwise known as the All Yankee Show right now. The Yankee post game report from Game 4. I'm doing it the day after last night, Sunday night at 1420 World Headquarters is family night. So me and Deanne, we made dinner after the ball game was done. In fact, she couldn't wait till the game was done. She actually wanted to eat during the game. I was like, no, 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 that's not how this all works. You think she would know better by now than to try to interrupt a playoff game at Yankee World Headquarters at 1420 World Headquarters, the Yankee Tavern North, as we call it during the baseball season, especially during the playoff season. Yankee fans, we survived to see another day. Yankees win last night 4-2 at Progressive Field in Cleveland. Quite a great game for Garrett Cole. That's why he was brought in. Garrett, Jerry, whatever you want to call him. That's why he was brought in. That's why he was given the big bucks, was to get these wins in these situations. Kind of the CC Sabathia kind of thing of just a few years back. Cole came in, was great, did his job. But I want to start earlier in the day when the lineup came out that Isaiah Kiner Falefa was left off of the opening the lineup last night to make way for Cabrera to play shortstop. They rewarded the kid who had a pretty hot bat. I was going to give up on him before Game 3. He struggled a little bit. He looked like he was a little overwhelmed in the first couple of games in the Bronx, but Cabrera was great. Fantastic. Played some great shortstop. IKF's been struggling. Maybe the bright lights in the big city of the Bronx isn't for him around playoff time. He had an okay season, but let's not dwell on the negative. That was a big surprise to me and my good friend and Yankee fan Scott Norland. He was he was shocked that IKF was out of the lineup and that Boone and company would make that decision. It was a welcome surprise. I was completely shocked, but let's get off of that. Let's get back to Jerry Cole. 110 pitches, 7 innings. Said earlier in the day to Scott, I said he has to go 7. In fact, I said it a while ago that for the Yankees to be successful in this playoff run, every start that man gets, he has to go 6-7 innings for sure, without a doubt. And he did it last night. The Yankees bullpen is a little backed up, a little bunged up, a little banged up, but they gave him some rest. They got had to go to the bullpen for a couple of innings, but that's bound to happen. Not many guys go complete games nowadays. As we know, you're not going to get the Nolan Ryan 140, 150 pitch games anymore. Those days are way gone. In fact, it was kind of shocking last night, the way they were talking about how the rotations are going to set up, and then this guy and that guy. And Justin or Shane Bieber, Justin's dad, said he wanted to pitch tonight, and Terry Francona said, no, the one game isn't worth your career. You got a long career ahead of you, kid, so don't worry about it. It's kind of astonishing that a guy coming to the end of his career in Francona, maybe he knows his team's not going to win a World Series, but man, it's tough to win a World Series. You're not in it. And for Francona to tell Bieber that he wasn't going to be going tonight or to be a part of anything, the earliest he would be going would be a Game 1 in the ALCS versus Houston. It was shocking to hear that they weren't going to use their best guy at all. Whether that happens tonight, who knows? But that's what it was said. And Bieber, Justin's dad, Shane, is apparently not going to be in the lineup tonight in any capacity. He'll be on the bench cheering the guys on. But I was quite shocked at that Francona would make that decision. Anyways, let's get back to the Yankees. Like I said, they got the start of a lifetime from Cole. He was great. The big moment wasn't too big for him. Of course, he gave up the solo home run, which is always a thing. It's a thing that he does. It's just you can't stop it. It's we'll get to that a little bit later with the guy who hit it and everything else. The Bush move, I thought. But anyways, Josh Naylor with rocking the baby. I don't know, whatever. So let's get into that. Fourth inning, I think it was, he gave it the home run. Bad habit he has. Nate Naylor, as he's going around rocking the baby. Post-game interview, Cole said that he wasn't bothered by it, but you could see that he was quite disturbed by it. Because what's he going to say? Yeah, it bothered me, so they're going to get on me even worse. So for what's he supposed to say in that situation? Of course it bothered him. Is it a Bush move? Yeah, it doesn't look good. I don't mind, like the other night we talked about when San Diego was winning and they were dancing and having a good time and Soto was having a great time. The stuff that's not rehearsed, I think it's great for baseball. A bat flip is great for baseball. I wasn't that way that many years ago. Take you back to 15, the Jose Bautista bat flip. It bothered me then, but a few days later, once I started watching it, I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. They're showing some enthusiasm. They're not just robots. Like we complain about hockey players here in Canada, how like Sidney Crosby's just a robot, and Connor McDavid, they're just robots. They're just very regimented in their way. For these guys to have the enthusiasm they do, I don't mind that. But that planned stuff that Naylor had last night, I thought it was kind of a Bush move. Wasn't that many years ago. Where his next at bat, he probably would have got one in the air. You probably can't do that in the playoffs because every at bat means so much, especially when you're down 2-1 in the best of 5. So Naylor, he was probably pretty fortunate in that situation. Something happens tonight to Naylor, who knows? But that's my thoughts on that. Anyways, Cole was great. Did what he was supposed to do. He was very aggressive with his fastball when he had to be. There was one strikeout, the very last one of the game, where he just blew it by the guy. And for one of the first times in his Yankee career, he showed a lot of emotion during that strikeout, gave the old fist pump, and it was nice to see. It was very good to see a guy that usually is very stoic and doesn't show a whole bunch give that kind of emotion for his team. I think that might be a problem throughout baseball, throughout professional sports, is that most of these guys, they play for their next contract, and they don't play for a team. They don't play for a team they're drafted by, although Cole was drafted by the Yankees, decided not to play, played in Houston and in Pittsburgh before he ended up in the Bronx. But a lot of these guys play for contracts, and they don't play for a team so much. Yes, Cole's been there for a few years, but I don't see the emotion from a lot of players that shows that team emotion a lot of times. Yes, it does come through in certain situations, but a lot of the time, because these guys go from team to team in free agency, you don't see a whole bunch. So it's nice to see Cole show that kind of emotion last night. Great start by Cole. Like I said, 7 innings, 7 strong innings, 110 pitches, and he gave that bullpen a chance to take a rest and get ready for Game 5, which is, it's all the marbles tonight. We'll talk about that in another. I'm going to record a different show tonight because I'm just busy around here at 1420 World Headquarters. Apparently, like Bader, he quickly becoming a fan favorite in the Bronx. He hit his 3rd home run last night, a 2-run shot in the 2nd. Just goes around the bases, doesn't showboat. He got a good piece of it again, like just an unbelievable home run off of Quantrill. He kind of owns Quantrill from what I've heard in the playoffs and in the past. That's the 2nd one off Quantrill, and then his 3rd one overall in like 6 at-bats. It's quite a star, or whatever it is, in 3 games. It don't much matter. Stats aren't 14-20, and foul tips a strong suit because we just watch the games, but stats aren't a thing. But it's nice to see Bader hit the home run. Like you said, he's becoming a fan favorite in the Bronx, the way he plays. Everybody was a little bit concerned because no one knew enough about him. I know I didn't know enough about him. I was shocked at the Montgomery trade that did happen. It kind of blew my mind quite a bit that it did happen. And then he was hurt, and I said, why would you trade for a guy who's hurt? Thank God they did. Bader's been great. I expect him to do big things later on tonight and throughout his Yankee career. Great player, the way he does things. Apparently a little situation turned up last night. I don't know, for those of you who follow on Twitter and follow different things but apparently Bader was throwing baseballs playing catch in the field, and he would throw them into the stands, as all baseball players do, to give souvenirs to fans. He would throw them off the screen, they drop down, and then the fans can grab them however they want. Apparently somebody got hurt. Ball might have landed on their head. When it says right on the ticket, baseballs and bats going into the seats may hurt you. You're liable for your own. So somebody put it on Twitter that Bader's a bad dude and he was throwing baseballs into the stands and somebody got hurt. No videos were taken, which is odd in this day and age because everybody has a camera on their phone. They actually use their cameras more than they use their phones. So why there's no video evidence of this, to my knowledge, as of right now, as I'm recording this at 12:01 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, it's astonishing that there's no video evidence of this. And then somebody was complaining that he threw one into the parking lot over top of the fence and out of the stadium. Okay, apparently he did this, from what I've read on the other side, because there's 3 sides to every story: his side, her side, and the truth, right? So here's the other side of the story. I don't know the truth, obviously. I won't hear what Bader, but from what I've read is that the ball he threw it into the stands for a fan to have as a souvenir. The fan threw it back towards Bader. He picked it up and launched it over the fence, probably not knowing what was on the other side of the fence. That's what I've heard. So he threw it out of the stadium. That's what he did. case closed. So he wasn't trying to hurt anybody or damage anything. So that's what I've heard. Maybe I'm just a Yankee fan, being a Yankee hugger, Yankee lover, and I'm taking his word for it. So who knows what happened there? But anyways, it was good to see Bader having the game that he did. It was fantastic to see a guy that grew up liking the Yankees, a New York kid, having a great playoff run so far. I don't think 4 games is a run. You got to go to about 2 series. So 4 games isn't a run, but the first 4 games he's been quite great for the Yankees. Good to see. One guy that's not having a good Yankee tenure and is probably just playing out his string was the guy that got in for IKF in the lineup because they put Cabrera at shortstop is Aaron Hicks. Can he just pretend that he wants to be there? That fly ball, I think in the 3rd or the 4th, whatever, it was the 3rd. Donaldson went out on it, probably shouldn't have. Hicks probably should have ran a little harder. That should have been a Hicks ball. Good thing that there was a base running error and they got the guy at first base that got them out of the inning pretty much and got them out of the trouble that they were in. But Hicks showed no effort in going for that pop up in behind third base. How deep was he playing? I don't know, but it was bad optics from what I seen, and some other people that follow us back and forth on Twitter that they seen the same thing. That's Hicks' ball all day long. Running in on the ball is a lot easier. That goes back to high school baseball and to little league baseball. Running in's easier, running backwards, and it didn't look like Hicks was putting in much of an effort. He did have a couple of decent at bats. He drew a walk. He hit a ball pretty hard, but it looks to me like Hicks is just playing out the string, and he just wants to get his Yankee career over. As he pretty much said that earlier on the season, that's maybe it's time for him to move on because he just isn't going to get the playing time that he thinks he deserves. But anyways, he's gone. I think they're going to use the same lineup tonight. I think they kind of have to. It worked last night. People are calling for this guy and that guy to be. I would leave it how it was. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And then you can leave some guys coming off the bench like Carpenter to come in and at bat. I don't think Carpenter's 100% yet, or else he might be playing a little bit more. But anyways, we won't dwell on that. Little nerve-wracking for me in the once it got to the 7th or the 8th and 9th inning, geez, man, those last 6 outs were a little nerve-wracking because Cole was rolling so well and because he was mowing guys down left and right. So it was a little bit nerve-wracking. But Clay Holmes, Wandy Peralta did the job rather efficiently, mind you. And it's, and it was time to bring out Sinatra and enjoy the victory last night. I had it queued up as soon as the game was over. Old Frankie was playing down here in the Yankee Tavern North, otherwise known as 1420 World Headquarters. So it was good to see. It was fantastic to see the win. It was great to see the win. That last 6 outs is going to be tough. Obviously, we're all used to. Yankee fans of my vintage and older are so used to having Mariano come out and lock up those sometimes 4 to 6 and 6 outs no matter what. Maybe it's time out 9 years later where he hasn't been around the Bronx as a player. Maybe it's time for us to maybe hang it up and forget about it because he ain't coming back. I mean, he looks good and maybe he still could. Who knows? But I think it's time for Yankee fans to drop the past a little bit. Put the ghosts away and just worry about the guys who are there and not worry about the guys who aren't there. The guys who are there are trying. They're putting a good effort. They're winning divisions. They're in the playoffs. Tonight's a big one for the Yankees. We'll talk about that on the game 5 preview show they're going to record later on this afternoon. Like I said, busy place here at 1420 World Headquarters. One thing that didn't change from game 1 to 4 last night was the nonstop talking from Bob Costas. Shut up, man. Like, shut up about the SpongeBob SquarePants in the 3rd inning, the stupid conversation with Ron Darling. And Darling, another thing, 6th inning, 5th inning, 6th, it doesn't much matter. There was an out at first base. The umpire called the out at first base. And as you people know who listen to the 1420 Sports Bar podcast and who listen to Foul Tips and who listen to Hey Blue, all the shows that we got going under the 1420 brand, they know that I'm an umpire. The umpire last night, I can't remember his name. I try not to get too involved in that. He called the guy safe, motioned with his hands that he was off the base, made the correct call, said what the call was. The umpire did. Darling just couldn't understand that, yes, the ball beat him, and yes, he would have been out, but his foot wasn't on the base. That's why he was safe, Darling. For you to just keep commenting on it, like it was like 20 seconds, it seems longer than that, but just keep commenting how an umpire can make a call like that. Yeah, he's safe. Yeah, he's safe. Yes, the ball beat him, Ron. Yes, I get it, man, but quit being such a Cleveland hugger in this situation. I know you play for the Mets. You probably don't like the Yankees. I get it, but You need to shut your yap, watch the game. A guy who's been in the game for as long as you have would have noticed that the umpire signaled off the base. It wasn't the ball beating him. Yes, everybody saw the ball beat him. I get it. But he was safe for a reason. And the umpire motioned with his hand, and he said he was off the bag. Watch the game, Ron, and so don't worry about what Costas is blabbing about, because nobody cares what Costas is blabbing about. That's one thing I got to do today, folks. I need to change up figure out the speaker situation, because I got an old Technique stereo from 1997. Still sounds fantastic, by the way. I got to get an adapter to go from the iPhone to that so I can get John and Susan on the game. One guy that I want to talk about, although also, is Giancarlo Stanton, sack fly RBI. I think it was for the fourth run, fourth run. It doesn't much matter. But 0 for 3 with the sac fly, 2 more strikeouts. I don't get the warm and fuzzies that guy's going to do something for the Yankees with the game on the line. I don't think he's the guy to be clubbing away as he is. The way his swing is odd. I've always thought that. Other baseball people think that. Yes, he's hit 59 in the past, but yes, the man strikes out a lot. And I just think that the Yankees, in a big spot, what might be better off to do what they did with A-Rod back in 2000. Oh, geez, whatever year that was, and in 09, I believe it was. And they pulled him and put in a different bat that scored some runs. It might not have been 09. It doesn't much matter. Who cares? But to maybe, you know what? Even though you pay the guy a bunch of money to hit home runs for you, to have a guy that's feast or famine in a big situation where you do need some contact. Stanton, to me, isn't the guy. He makes me really nervous when he's up there, that he's just going to be flailing away and not get a hit that's needed. And he did that again last night. He's done it throughout the playoffs so far. And when he strikes out, he just seems disinterested. Yes, he shows emotion differently than some people do. He's a California guy who's always cool and everything else. And they're pretty laid back. And Stanton's that kind of guy. But when the moment's down and it's something to be said about that game, a game on the line, I don't think Stanton's the guy to get you that big hit. Anyways, enough of the negative stuff. Live to see another day. Game in the Bronx tonight. It's great to see that the Yankees pulled it together. They had a great game last night. I thought in and out, no errors. They played well. Hicks the blunder, obviously, but their infield played great. They did what they had to do. They got some timely hitting when it needed to be done. They actually put the ball in play, and that is so big. And they were doing things that usually Cleveland was doing the first 3 games. They were doing it last night. It was nice to see. Yeah, they still got the 2 home runs, or the 2-run shot from Bader. That's been their repertoire. It's been their forte for quite some time. The Bronx Bombers, the whole thing, and got the hit that they needed, the home run they needed, because all runs count. I'm not disregarding that, but it was great. It was a great win. I was happy. I was excited. I was a little bit nervous at times, but I had my trusty 2017 hat, as I'm wearing right now, and I'll be wearing the same jersey I wore last night. So keep the superstition going. I called it in the prediction show prior to the series starting between the Guardians and the Yankees that the Yankees would win this 1-5. They had to win last night to get it to a game 5, but they did it. Hicks did what he was supposed to do. Not Hicks. Cole did what he was supposed to do. Thank you very much, Jerry Cole, for doing that. The people at stands probably had the beer supplier on speed dial last night, because they had to get ready to go for the game tonight in the Bronx at 161st and River. Wish I was going. For all of you who are going, have a great time tonight. And if you listen to this show prior to getting on the subway, tell someone next to you on the subway to give this a listen and get yourself thinking about the game tonight. So it was a great thing. The bullpen's good. We'll get into the preview show right away here. I got some other things I got to do prior to, but thank you very much to everybody who's been listening. This show was brought to you by SeatGeek and the SeatGeek app. Use promo code, maybe tonight in the Bronx, use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today. Save yourself $20 and throw some money in the 1420 bank account for us to keep putting out shows for you like this. Go Yankees, go. Also, make sure you follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to the show. Turn on the notification button. You'll never know when we might be putting something out there. Something always comes up in my head down at 1420 World Headquarters. Also, a new sponsor of ours, Plate Crate. Lots of apparel, training guides, equipment, the whole thing. Baseball themed boxes, stuff for parents, coaches as well. So platecrate.com. Use our link to get there. But anyways, Jerry Cole, great game last night. Yankees will probably stick with the same lineup tonight. Boone surprised me yesterday by taking KF out. Last night during the post-game show, they said he probably wouldn't be in the lineup today. So it's great to see. Go Yankees, go. Big game tonight. Let's hear Frankie one more time in the Bronx.
Thank you for listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.